Hey everybody, we're back. It is Ed with Brain MTG, and I'm here with Paul from Centerpiece Collectibles. And if you're ever in Konoha, please remember to go to Ichiraku Ramen Shop. It is the best around.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
Alright, so we are sitting here, and we are talking about all manner of things. And a subject that keeps coming up is minty cards, because they're disappearing. It's getting harder to grade them. People are putting out expectations and everything. And a subject that I don't know, this is something from coins that I think kind of applies here, and we don't really have a term for it yet. And it's something like this, right? Okay. PCGS genuine. Cleaned AU details, right? This coin is what's called a problem coin. If you can see there, the surface, this would probably be, AU 58, something like that. Maybe even MS 60, 61 if it wasn't cleaned. It's always going to be cleaned now. Forever. It's not going backwards. Entropy only goes one way. So, there are a lot of cards out there that maybe they have a scratch. Maybe they have like a little dent in them. Maybe they're curved. And otherwise, the card doesn't have a problem. This is what's called a problem coin. I
Scratch,
think
dent, curve, or been tampered with.
Anything. Oh yeah, tampered, like shaved edges, inked, rebacked. Good point. These are cards though that when it comes to reselling, it's always going to be an issue. Problem coins, they tend to pile up because nobody freaking wants them. It's like, yeah, I guess you could sell it, but you're always kind of gonna take a hit on what the price should be because it's a problem coin. A problem card is always gonna be the same thing unless you just come out and say it's damaged and just take the freaking hit. You're gonna try and sell it as a light play. Somebody's gonna come back at you. You're gonna have an eBay dispute. That's the problem with problem coins and problem cards. It's always going to be a problem. And when you can get rid of those, I would. Because when you're trying to re-enter the market with such items, you're not going to be happy with the results. Because people like me out there and people like Paul, we look at it and we say, I'm sorry, we can't give you the near mint price. It doesn't matter that the card is so nice and it's only got one defect. That one defect is that serious. It's just the way it is. It could look great. If it's got that issue, it's got that issue. And that's the problem with problems, I guess.
I see it in the sports card world too. And the sports card world has to deal with some different problems than you see in Magic the Gathering, right? Mm-hmm. One thing we see all the time is sports cards that have jersey patches on them, right? A piece of the jersey on the card.
Yeah.
What folks figured out is if there's just a plain white piece of jersey on the card, that doesn't look that exciting. But if I swap it out and I put in a chunky patch from a jersey, that looks a lot better.
All the different colors
there's
and stuff.
Databases of cards when they first come out of packs. When they first hit eBay.
So
you could go back and look at when a card first came out.
So I'm asking you this. I don't know.
Changed over time.
Yeah, I don't know about this particular situation, but what I'm seeming to come away with is you can buy two patches from somebody popular and somebody not popular, maybe on the same team, and pull off the patch of this one to put on here if it's a more exciting patch to get a premium.
You could go to Walmart and buy a jersey and cut the patch.
Shit, I didn't even think of that.
Yep.
That's even crazier.
Yep. You go to a sporting goods store, buy a jersey and cut the patch, whatever you want. And then you have your choice, whatever patch you
right. You can make it the most instead of having to hunt down.
It's happened a lot, and it's happened with key rookie cards, very expensive ones.
Cards too.
So those become problem cards to our whole discussion here, right? Like I know there's a very well-known Steph Curry National Treasures rookie patch auto out there.
God.
Anthony Davis was another big problem one. So people have built, little databases of photos of some of these cards.
I think that's actually kind of great to protect people, but like for the person that gets stuck holding the bag, it sucks because now you got a worthless piece of paper. I mean, to somebody it's worth something, but to find that buyer and to get an appropriate price, it is not worth the headache.
Well, and the even bigger problem is some of these things have made it into graded card holders.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you're talking about BGS 9.5s that have a tampered patch inside. And that's just one example, right?
Yeah, that's
trimming,
crazy.
right? Trimming, recoloring, there's all that
Trimming
stuff
is
goes on.
surprising too what people trim. Like even Rudy has gotten some interesting cards where it's like stuff like Gilded Drake or something from Urza's Saga, and it's like, who trimmed this and when? You know, like that's kind of crazy if you think about the length of time that it's been around. It's like, did this just happen recently? Because who was grading Urza's Saga except for me and
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So problem cards, do your best to avoid them. If you see a big issue on a card, steer clear, because you're saying to yourself, ooh, this is some major damage. Who isn't going to say that? Your next buyer is going to say that too. So, you know, just be smart about what you pick up, because you don't want to be left with a pile of B grade crap.
So let's talk about transition between sports and Magic here for a second. So if someone comes to me with a bunch of high-end sports cards that are not graded, my red flag immediately goes off, and I think
Why didn't you
something
grade
is
them?
wrong with these. Unless it's a story like I've had these for 20 years or my husband died, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
But if someone approaches me at a show with a box full of very high-end cards that have not been graded, my first thought is, why haven't these been graded? There's something wrong with them. They're tampered with, right? So in the Magic world, I feel like you don't have that as much, right? If someone approaches you with a whole Magic collection that hasn't been graded, your first thought isn't they're all rebacked and inked.
That's because of the players.
Right,
I think
correct.
that's the biggest difference between the sports and the Magic community is that there's a lot of players who don't care about condition.
Correct, yeah.
And I
Grading.
think, yeah, exactly. And so, like, but see, the thing is, right, if I come into contact with somebody with some graded cards, and I talk to them and they tell me they have some raw cards, then I'm going to be like, you've got graded cards. You've either graded them or you've sought them out. So you know about the graded card community. Why didn't you grade your cards? You know, like, okay, there are reasonable excuses or reasons, it don't have to be excuses. You know, like maybe you don't want to send your cards away for a year. Maybe you don't want to pay $30 to $50 of a freaking card, you know, those are acceptable reasons. But to say, it's just what I have or something like that, it's just, you know, do your due diligence too. Ask questions. Just be a little cautious, because problem cards are not something you want to end up with. You're going to have tough times selling it back in the sports community too, especially apparently. And patches, god damn, I didn't know that. That's crazy. Cutting it out at the store. That's a good one.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Something that happens, unfortunately, and then you have problem cards, right? So
and another thing is the signatures, right? They get the stickers and do that whole thing too.
It's a huge thing with autograph cards. Even if an autograph's on the actual card, people will retrace them, so you've got to be careful with that. And again, some of those have gotten through and they're actually graded, right? So
yeah, that's tough stuff right there. And you know that all of it shakes faith in the whole community. So, you know, misrepresenting your cards too when you're reselling them, if it's a problem card, definitely let the people know. Take big fat pictures of it on eBay. You know, that's your best thing you could do. Be upfront about it, and maybe someone will be willing to look past it.
it's important to, you know, pay attention and learn as much as you can, because it happens everywhere, right? People sell cars with, you know, they turn back the odometer, they put, you know, bunk parts on a car.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
it happened with anything.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
Yep.
It's very true. It's just Magic. I guess if you have problem cards, try to find a player. That's my best advice. But
well, and you had good advice too. It's just to be honest. You know? Just be honest about it, and you know.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, problem cards. There it is. This has been a pleasure as always. This is Ed with Brain MTG and Paul with Centerpiece Collectibles. Please go check him out. And if you haven't liked, subscribed, commented, all that stuff, please do so now, and also subscribe to him. If you're trying to buy some, you know, cards out there, please use my TCG Player affiliate link. It really helps. It is free to use, and it helps the channel a lot. Check out my Patreon too. Got some interesting things popping on there. Need people to get to some older box breaks. That's where we're headed. All right, everybody. Take care. It's been a pleasure. Peace.